Hi, welcome to Jen's Jungle, or welcome back if you've been here before. And today I'm setting up an indoor enclosure for my 3 tortoises. So I have 3 Western Hermann Tortoises, and this is their new indoor enclosure. It is a critination, but it's actually 2 critinations side by side. This is part of my triple critination. And this will give them 180 centimeters by 60 centimeters, which is roughly 6 foot by 2 foot, giving them 12 square feet altogether. So first off, I've added the base pans and given them a bit of a wash. I'm now adding the metal sides, which are an extra, but this will be to keep all the substrate in. These were a bit of a pain to put on, but will really help with keeping the substrate in and the room clean. So as I said, I have got 3 Western Hermann Tortoises. These are a small type of Mediterranean tortoise, typically getting to around 5 inches, although females can get bigger than this. They are known for having vibrant colours, being relatively easy to take care of within the tortoise world, but do still require specialist care. They're a bit less common than their close relatives Eastern Hermanns. Eastern Hermanns get much bigger and need much more space, so it's important to know what you're getting when you first get your tortoise. So as well as the sides, I'm just adding some plastic to the base. This is just to help keep things clean and also help seal any gaps in. This is just basic chloroplast that you can get from most hardware stores. So I decided to go for the critination cage, as it gives them lots of space, it gives good ventilation. The aquariums and tanks aren't ideal for tortoises. Many people recommend a tortoise table, however, because I've got cats, I decided to try a critination, as this will keep it secure. I'm now going to make up the substrate. So for this, I'm just using Coca-Cola. This comes in a solid brick, which you add water to, and here you can see it expanding. The substrate is really important. I like to go for a naturalistic substrate. And I use a mix of Coca-Cola and sand. This is more similar to what they might find in the wild. Western Hermann Tortoises are from Europe, particularly Italy, and a sand soil mix is great for them. You don't need fancy reptile soil or sand. Just stuff you get from garden centres or online is absolutely fine. Just make sure it's natural with no additives or fertilizers or anything like that. So I'm now adding the Coca-Cola to each side of the enclosure, just giving it a nice spread out. My 3 tortoises are currently all about 5 to 7 years old. You've always got to be careful when keeping tortoises together that they don't cause any injury to each other, but my 3 seem okay. But we do always keep a close eye. They don't need company like some other animals do, but they can be kept together as long as they're given enough space. Just making sure it is all covered. Some people do use newspaper for their substrate, but I don't think this involves a lot of enrichment. Also, soil and sand can really help with humidity. The sand in particular helps hold on to moisture, which can be useful for maintaining a decent humidity, especially in open cages like this. Some people use wood chippings like aspen or hemp. I prefer not to use this, as if accidentally swallowed they can cause compaction. I find that a sand soil mix is the safest, as if any is swallowed it tends to pass through. For the sand, I just use a children's play sand, which I sterilise beforehand by cooking in the oven. You can also get reptile safe sand at pet stores, but it is best to avoid any calcium sand, or calci sand as it's often called. You just want plain sand with nothing added. So here I am just mixing it all together. I also really love how a sand soil mix looks, as it makes it look nice and naturalistic. For cleaning out, I just sieve through the sand every few days, removing any old food or poops or anything like that. And it only needs a complete clean out every few months, which is great. I'm now going to add some accessories. So at first I added a little bridge so they can cross from one section to the other. But I did quickly realise there was a little gap between the sections, and I don't want any legs getting caught, so I'm just adding a bit of fake grass in between just to block it off. I will have to monitor to make sure none of the tortoises try and eat the fake grass, as this would be bad for them. But hopefully it will be okay. I do have a camera on the tortoises all the time as well, so I tend to keep a very close eye on them. Now I'm going to add some hides in. I think it's important to give them multiple hides throughout the enclosure, including a warm hide and a cool hide, just so they can decide the best temperature for them. I use a mixture of wooden and ceramic hides. I'm also going to add a feeding dish. I like using a feeding dish for several reasons. First, it tends to keep most of the food secure and enclosed, and secondly, the abrasive surface of the feeding dish can help wear their claws down. Also going to add a little water bowl to one side as well. For the water bowl, I like it to be shallow, but also quite large so that they can get into it and stand in it and drink. Tortoises can find it difficult to drink from bowls, so it's important to find one that works for your tortoises. I've also added some little plant pots. These make great little hides for tortoises, and I think they look super cute as well. I'm also adding some rocks which they use as a basking platform, and I've also added a cork log just to give them some various textures and keep it interesting for them. Overall, I'm quite happy with how the enclosure is looking. Lots of hide, lots of variation for them, and also looking quite naturalistic, which I like. So I think it's time to add the 3 tortoises. Excuse the state of their tubs, these were just temporary. Here the 3 of them are. This is Tigger, Eel and Piglet. I'm not quite sure on genders yet, as they're a little young. Hopefully they like their new enclosure. So if you like this content, please like and subscribe. Put any comments below for what you might like to see. And we hope to see you again soon. Bye!